Nepeta, interrogate Frog Girl. Nepeta began trolling Erda. She says, Erda, I can see you. That is you, right? And Erda says, yes. She says, why are you the floating frog all of a sudden? Erda says, I'm dead. My spirit merged with the frog sprite. And Nepeta says, wow, dead. Really? Erda says, like a ghost. Nepeta says, huh. Well, I hope this doesn't make me sound dumb, but I am completely blown away by that stunning revelation. Erda says, you don't sound dumb. Nepeta says, phew, kitty face with double mouth. How did you die? Erda says, I ignored the advice of a friend and made some bad choices. Lime rumples up her nose in perplexement at Erda's really vague and spooky answer. But actually that's good because I kind of think I don't want to know. It's making me sad to think about it. Sad face with two mouths. Erda says, okay. Nepeta, can you please keep this a secret? Nepeta says, yes, I promise I won't tell anyone about it. And by permis, I mean promise. Just so you know, I'm serious. Erda says, thank you. Ribbit. Whoops. Nepeta says, hee hee hee. Erda, be the huge bench. Huge bench, blah blah. Enter name. Your name is Vriska Circuit. You are a master of extreme role-playing. You can't get enough of it. Or really any game of high stakes and chance. You have persisted with the habit You've persisted with the habit even in spite of your accident. But then again, you didn't have much choice. Your Lucis is very hungry, all the time. She can only be appeased by the flesh of young trolls. Your cloud campaigns for teams of flarpers, utilizing your abilities for orchestrating the demise of the impressionable. You cloud campaigns. Your victories supply you with treasure, experience points, and spider food. You are something of an apocalypse buff, which is something you can be on Alternia. You are fascinated by end-of-the-world scenarios and enjoy constructing doomsday devices for the heck of it. You are drawn to means of dark prognostication and the advantages they offer, particularly in gaming scenarios. Your abilities in this department were hobbled with the loss of your vision eightfold, and you have since sought alternatives through various black oracles. You consult with these ominous globes, but routinely destroy them in frustration over the puzzling guaranteed inaccuracy of their predictions. Breaking them has developed into a habit bordering on fetishistic, and with each you destroy, you add an insurmountable stockpile of terrible luck. You have to stop, but addiction is a powerful thing. Your troll tag is Arachnid's grip, and your statements tend to be just a little bit overdramatic. What will you do? Vriska, check out cool drawing on wall. Yeah! You drew your own role-playing character for fun, as many flarpers are prone to do. She is the best character, and you wish you were her. Oh wait, you are her. Your wish has been granted. Probably as a special boon for being so great at everything. Her name is Marquise Spinneret Mindfang, scourge of land dwellers and sea dwellers alike, and worst nightmare to silly boy skylarks everywhere. She has accumulated more treasure and gained more levels than any member of the Petticoat Seagrift class ever. She gained all the levels. All of them. Yeah! Vriska, proceed to computer. D. Ford, you have a lot to do. So many irons in the fire. Ow! Lousy dice. You can't ever seem to go anywhere in your hive without stepping on an errant D4. Pointy little bastards. It's just your bad luck, you guess. You've had such terrible luck ever since your accident, and it keeps getting worse. As far as you're concerned, the world can't end soon enough. As you were saying, so many irons in the fire. Such a tangled web. It is a web full of flaming irons and mixed metaphors. Tonight is a big night. You have a lot of meddling to catch up on tonight. Bugging and fussing and meddling. Vriska, take dice. You equip your enchanted dice set, a fabled Fullerite Octet. It consists of 8d8 plundered from a ghost ship during a particularly challenging campaign. In ancient times, such weapons were employed by roving bands of gamblinants, deadly marauders with a passion for chance. They all died off, though. Took too many crazy risks. Rolling dice will execute a wide range of highly unpredictable attacks. Very high rolls can be devastating to even the most powerful opponents. Of course, with the luck you've had lately, you couldn't make a good roll to save your life. Gotta do something about this awful luck. Gotta catch a break. When you get worked up about stuff, you put 8s in places that don't really make a lot of sense phonetically. Vriska, begin meddling. Time to get the show on the road. There are so many people to meddle with tonight. After you ditch an unwelcome solicitor first, that is. Doesn't she realize how rude it is to meddle? You'll fuss with her meddling later. Yeah. What now? Oh, him. You thought he'd washed his hands of you. Strange timing that he's bugging you tonight after so long without a peep from him. Vriska, deal with this guy. Oh boy, it's time. He says, hello. And she says, oh my gosh, why are you talking to me? And he says, this is the last time we'll ever talk. She says, still sticking with the white text, I see. So smooth and stylish. I forgot how much I loved highlighting it to read all the boring things you have to say. It's like a fun game with four super extra dumb butt diaper babies. Like opening a present. Find out what obnoxious thing the mystery tool typed. What is it? He says, a parting courtesy, I suppose. All the ways I've exploited you were meant to bring about the events that will take place this evening. Knowing this will provide context for the events in your near future and will affect how you behave in response. These events will be just as important as those preceding it. I've gone to great lengths, you'll see. She says, you didn't exploit me. You are just a petty douche with a bad temper who likes to play games, and all I did was humor you. He says, I did exploit you very thoroughly. It was easy. She says, so full of yourself. He says, have I ever lost a game? She says, don't change the subject. He says, what subject are you referring to? And she says, squishy face with oh mouth. I'm going to log off in a big huff, and you have to promise not to use that nasty trick where you log me back on out of petty, douchey spite. And then we can go back to never talking, because man, that was heaven when it was like that. He says, there's no need for that kind of assurance. I'll be brief. I no longer hold you accountable for any wrongdoing. In fact, I've given your transgression very little thought since the incident. If you acknowledge this amnesty and regard it as sincere, you may begin to find the odds falling in your favor again. This may be essential if you are to succeed on your journey. She says, slow down. Man, I am just wearing out so many pens taking all these important notes. Frick you for ruining all my good note-taking pens and giving me this terrible cramp in my good note-taking hand. He says, incredible, the risks you take with your scorn. But of course, it was your unpleasant, simplistic temperament that has made you so easy to control. Vicious and predictable, like an insect. If you turn a swarm of wasps on a crowd, the outcome is certain. It takes no skilled strategist to understand this. You were, in fact, a waste of my talents, a primitive expedient. And she says, blech, what a snob. You're worse than my meddler friend. He says, I wonder why they waste their camaraderie on you. I'll never understand it. She says, I thought you said you would be brief. He says, I'll say one last thing. Though the magnitude of the ensuing destruction resulting directly from your actions will be neither possible or necessary for you to fathom, there nevertheless ought to be a silver lining. The only question is whether you will live long enough to see it. I'm not a gambling man, but if I was, I wouldn't bet on it. Goodbye. And she says, bye, butthole. Lump. More hollow comebacks. As hollow and wish-washy as the inside of one of these dumb black globes. What use is all that attitude against a guy who's never wrong? It's so depressing. You can't even work up the energy to smash this stupid thing. Maybe you could stand to have some camaraderie wasted on you, even if it comes from a meddler metal friend. Vriska, endure meddling. She began trolling Green, and Vriska says, "What?" Green says, "Just wanted to know if your Lucis dead yet. Is your Lucis dead yet?" Vriska says, "Huh? What kind of question is that? Is this some trick? Are you trying to sabotage me? Are you in cahoots with someone?" Green says, no. And Vriska says, "Cahoots! Cahoots, I say." Green says, "You sure do seem to be saying cahoots. I'm just asking, because mine's dead." Vriska says, "What? Oh no, how did that happen?" Green says, "It was just her time." Vriska says, "Really? Are you sure it wasn't sabotage?" "I would suspect sabotage if I were you." Green says, "No, there was no plot or conspiracy or any trace of saboteurs operating through the special and magical union one can only describe as being in cahoots with another." When a virgin mother grub abdicates and renounces brooding, her time will be relatively short. I always knew this. Vriska says, sad face with 8 eyes. "She was so cool. You had the coolest Lucis of anyone I know. I wanted to meet her someday." Green says, "Maybe you still can." Vriska says, "Yeah, meet her corpse. I guess that's not so bad a consolation prize. Seeing a big, dead, cool mother grub. Wow. You were so lucky. My Lucis sucks." "Why did you ask if she's dead anyway? Do you know something?" Green says, "They are all dying. Or they're going to soon. I believe it's a preemptive consequence of the game we are about to play. If a preemptive consequence is a concept that can be said to hold any meaning, or from what I understand, if it is applicable in any sphere at all, then this game holds that sphere." Vriska says, "Okay, I don't really get that. So you can just go ahead and think I'm some dumb flighty broad again." Green says, "I wasn't going to do that. You don't know what. You know what? I don't even really understand what I just said, so never mind." Vriska says, "Now you have me a little worried. Man, I hope she's okay. Why would this happen? This is just my luck. Have some died besides yours? And, you know whose, I guess?" Shocked face with 8 eyes. Green says, "Yes, a few. Carcat thinks it's his fault. He believes his actions triggered an inauspicious chain reaction." Vriska says, "You mean a curse?" Green says, "Sure." Vriska says, "Wow. Between his curse and my crappy luck, we are so screwed." Green says, "I'm not surprised to see you endorse his paranoia without hesitation, but I was attempting to illustrate a point in bringing it up." Vriska says, Phew, there goes another one sailing over the idiot girl's head. Okay, lay it on me." Green says, "These events are inevitable, and regardless of whatever emotional entanglements obfuscate their significance, they will ultimately serve an important purpose. The curse had nothing to do with it, and Carcat's notion of a curse is inseparable from his perception of events as intrinsically negative and is tailored to his personal dissatisfaction. And your bad luck is the same way, I believe, anyway." Vriska says, okay." Green says, "What would happen if you just cleaned up a bit? Don't you think you would step on a few less hard triangles?" Vriska says, "Why do you try to help me and stuff? What's the point? It's kind of bothersome and insulting sometimes. So I have a messy room. Big deal. My luck freaking blows. It's got nothing to do with you, and you just don't even know. Meddler." Why you so meddly, Miss Meddlesome McFussyfangs? Green says, because you're dangerous. And Vriska says, no way, I'm just fine. Why don't you can it? Green says, every time you tell me to can it, I think it's funny. I mean, it's just a funny thing to say, don't you think? And Vriska says, tongue stick out with 8 eyes. Green says, it's okay to be dangerous. A lot of people are. And dangerous people can be really important sometimes. Maybe even the most important sometimes. But it just means there's gotta be someone around to keep an eye on them. And if not me, then who? Everyone has an important job to do. Vriska says, okay, so you're spying on me. Kinda creepy. Man, maybe you should get a life. Or, if you're so high and mighty and think you're so great, maybe you could, I don't know, try and stop me from doing bad things? Green says, that wouldn't work. If I tried to stop you, you would regard me as an enemy instead of merely as a nuisance. And what good would that do? So I'm afraid McFussyfangs it must be. Vriska says, oh, okay, great, fine. I'm going to check on my Lucis now. But I'm starting to think you're full of crap, and I'm quite sure she will be quite fine. Green says, you're right, anything can happen, I guess. But just so you know, I'm sorry for your loss in advance. And then Vriska stopped trolling Green. And then Vriska started trolling Green and says, man, why didn't I just get the last word and sign off real quick like I usually do? Let you sneak that stinking little ninja quip in there. So mad. Lousy, stupid, gosh dang supportive friend. And then she stopped trolling Green again. Vriska, check on Lucis. You go down the 50 million stairs to her nest below. You wonder if any other kid on the planet has such a high maintenance Lucis. You doubt it. You pass by one of your completed doomsday devices. You promised you'd build it for an especially powerful and influential member of the nautical aristocracy in return for his collusion during your campaigns. Some guy you were in cahoots with. You guess none of it matters now, though. It was tough to build, and isn't perfect yet. Luckily, one of your pals nearby is pretty handy with technology. He can be tapped for parts and favors frequently. You wonder if any other kid on the planet has as many irons in the fire as you. You doubt it. See, look at this. She's fine. Fine and huge and hungry as ever. You guess you're relieved? Yes, of course. Phew! Why wouldn't you be? It would be devastating if anything happened to your dear, sweet custodian. I guess there's no delaying this guy's introduction anymore, as long as we're in the neighborhood. Enter name. Your name is Equius Zahak, because I guess it's supposed to be 2 beats. You love being strong. You are so strong, you would surely be the class of the elite legion of rough annihilators. And while such a calling would be quite honorable, you would prefer to join the rank of archer dictators, perhaps the most noble echelon the Imperial forces have to offer. Unfortunately, you suck at archery. You have not successfully fired a single arrow. Every time you try, you break the bow. You're simply too strong. You have broken so many bows, it has developed into a habit bordering on fetishistic. You have to stop, but addiction is a powerful thing. You have a great appreciation for the fine arts. You use your aristocratic connections to acquire priceless masterpieces, painted in the oldest and most respected Alternian tradition of nude muscle beast portraits. These striking depictions of the exquisite fauna native to Alternia remind you of the purest physical ideal that must be sought by anyone who professes a love of strength. When those of lesser bloodlines turn up their uncultured noses at such stunning material, it makes you furious. Practically everything makes you furious. You have so much rage, it can only be expressed through staggering quantities of physical violence. You build strong and sturdy robots, set them to kill mode, and then beat the crap out of them in caged brawls. Sometimes you lose teeth, but they usually grow back. Your troll tag is Centaur's Testicle, and with your bow and arrow ever at the ready, you take exception to lewd language unbefitting of blue bloods. What will you do? Equius, check on Lucis. Now where did that craven excuse for a custodian go? It makes you furious when he goes missing like this. Probably off somewhere nursing his bruises. You swear the old boy is made of glass. You're starting to get agitated. Arthur, where are you? Oh, there he is. He was just preparing an ice-cold glass of nutritious Lucis milk for you, with a thick foamy head on it, just the way you like it. You cannot hope to beat Arthur in a butler off. He simply is the best there is. Equius, thank Arthur. Pat, pat. You accept a frosty beverage and give the good fellow a grateful pat as gently as possible. Seriously, he's like a soft summer peach. Bruise. Equius, drink Lucis milk. Shatter. Lucis milk is the secret to being strong. Actually, it isn't. You like to think that, though. The truth is, you're really strong because you're kind of a freak. You were chosen by one of the strongest Lucis species on the planet. It was the only sort of custodian that could handle raising you. Whoops, there goes the glass, as usual. Hiss. And as usual, it sends you into a rage. The spilled milk quickly evaporates. Got to do something to calm yourself down. Let off some steam. Equius, equip a bow. Equip a bow. You mean equip. A little archery practice ought to cool you off, but of course the piece of crap snaps like a twig the moment you pick it up. Actually, the feel of the brittle wood giving way under the astonishing might of your man grit is starting to calm you down already. You equip your 1/2 bowkind specubus, which is pretty much useless. You also keep a plain old bowkind specubus in the event you are able to fire an arrow someday, because a boy can dream, right? But for more practical purposes, you keep a fistkind card on hand. You stow them all in your Strife portfolio. Remember the Strife portfolio? It still exists. It didn't stop existing or anything. Equius, answer. You proceed to have a conversation we read not all that long ago, and it went mostly like this. Yes. No. 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 But when it was all said and done, you were quite sure you convinced your good friend to stay on the right team. Not the team full of degenerates with swill coursing through their veins. You're starting to get worked up again. Routine helps calm you down. Maybe you'll talk to another friend. You talk to him every day for some reason, though it's not exactly right to call him a friend since you despise him. Your relationship with the fellow is difficult to describe. It should be noted that in troll language, the word for friend is exactly the same word for enemy. Equius, talk to friend/enemy. Which is Gamzee. So Equius began trolling Gamzee and says, "Have I ever told you what a reprehensible disgrace you are?" And Gamzee says, "Frick yeah, only other freaking day, bro." And Equius says, "I'm not in a very good mood. There are a few things I'd like to get off my chest." Gamzee says, "Freaking spill it. Don't be all keeping that crap bottled up, like a freaking all shaked up bottle of Faygo. Frick, dog, I'm thirsty. I'm down to my last bottle, and I don't freaking know if I can get any more on this freaking magic land, so I don't know." Equius says, "What you do appear to know is exactly how to maximize my livid contempt for you, which your revolting language and your sense of decorum, and such breathtaking odds with the richness and perfection of your blood. I just hate you so much." Gamzee says, "That's cool. I can't be all making not everybody happy all the time. If we ever meet, I could bake you a freaking pot and we could chill and maybe we'd be better bros that way. Aquarius says, the degrees to which you pollute your precious blood with your bottled fizzy sugar and soporific toxins. Maddening. You will stop. Gamzee says, whoa, I will? How do you know that? Aquarius says, no, you don't understand. It's not a prediction, it's an order. I command you to stop. Gamzee says, oh, alright, brother, you freaking got it. Aquarius says, what? Are you serious? Gamzee says, yeah, I mean, you gotta show some faith in your friends, cause they're all the ones who be in to look out for you. So frick, if you say I'm not doing the crap right, then what the frick do I know? Aquarius says, no, this is unacceptable. Let's start over. I apologize. I was completely out of line, and I'm sorry. I have no right to talk to you like that, or tell you what you can't do. Gamzee says, no worries. Aquarius says, it's not my place. Your habits notwithstanding, I am lesser than you, and inferior. Gamzee says, okay. Aquarius says, don't you understand that you're better than me? Can you please act like it? That's not a command. It's just a polite request, I guess. Gamzee says, okay, I can try, but man, I don't know if I know how to be like a better motherfricker than any other motherfricker. Aquarius says, look, it isn't that difficult. Try to be cognizant of your desires and needs, and attempt to regard those around you as simple vehicles meant to bring about your gratification. Gamzee says, wow, what? Aquarius says, what are you doing? Gamzee says, Aquarius says, right now. It sounds as if you have begun playing with the red team. Is this true? Gamzee says, yeah, frick yeah, I'm all up in the freaking crap of this wicked mystical fricker. I bonked an imp on the head with a club, and then a little later I scared one with a horn. Happy clown face. Aquarius says, good. This is very good. Hey, it really pleases me to hear tales of physical subjugation. I presume these were lesser beings, toiling in the lower ranks of some hierarchy. Gamzee says, well, yeah, they're underlings, and there's some subjugation involved for frickin' sure, but now we kinda settled down, and me and the imps are sharing some pie. These frickers are pretty dope, actually, I like them. Aquarius says, okay. It pleases me considerably less to hear things like that, but I've already stated I have no right to be disappointed by your conduct, so I will try to control myself. Gamzee says, oh crap, bro, I don't want to be all like disappointing you. What can I do to make a brother freaking shape his crap up? If I could make you smile, it'd be the best freaking miracle I ever did part of. Honk, honk, honk. Smiley face with clown nose. Aquarius says, would it be too much to ask for you to maybe boss me around a little? Gamzee says, you mean like role-playing? Aquarius says, if it would help to couch it in those terms, then yeah, I guess so. But not the especially juvenile kind. Let's keep it serious and professional. Gamzee says, I'll try, but I'm not much freaking good at it, I think. Aquarius says, just say anything, as long as it's authoritative. Gamzee says, okay, hey you, don't go near the freaking ocean, 'cause I all told you not to a bunch of times. Crap is straight up dangerous, and I'm getting my harsh on about it. Aquarius says, decent. I don't live near the ocean though, so it's hard to immerse myself in this scenario. Gamzee says, alright, well what aren't you all not supposed to do? What kind of mischief do you get your bad freaking self up to? Aquarius says, I do so many bad things. Just awful things. I'm incredibly impudent and a superior needs to put me in my place. Gamzee says, okay, well, don't be doing all those bad freaking things, bro. Aquarius says, yes, like that. That's good, like that. Gamzee says, cut that crap out, I'm so meaning this. Aquarius says, excellent. Now tell me this, High Blood. I've been roughhousing a little too hard lately. I've made a bit of a mess, and anyone in a position of authority would surely be cross about it. Gamzee says, percentage sign? Aquarius says, cross. Gamzee says, oh. Equus says, what do you make of it, this wretched misbehavior? Gamzee says, frick, man, I'm so motherfucking salty about all that business you said. Frick, I'm like all moving my mouth and the wicked noise is coming out in like the frontliest way possible, and it's going in your direction, because that's the direction to be freaking angry at. Equus says, yes, so good. I am presently whipped into a state of contrition, one benefiting of our class disparity, but I'm starting to perspire again, so it's best that we stop. Thank you for indulging me. Gamzee says, haha, no problem, bro. It's cool we could all up and freaking open up a little bit with each other. Like bros. If there's stuff you want to get off your chest, dude, like I said, I'm freaking here for a motherfucker. Kinda like a miracle, how it's always there. Never goes away, you know? Equus says, no, but I comprehend the sentiment. I have lots of thoughts, but they're difficult to communicate, if you'll listen. Gamzee says, sure, happy open mouth with clown nose. Equus says, honestly, I'm confused by the social order. Gamzee says, man, me too. I don't know what a freaking color is what, so I don't bother with thinking on that fricker. Equus says, see, this is what I mean. How is it possible for one of your distinction to be so ignorant and loathsome, whereas a member of the most abject, verminious bloodline of all can conduct herself with such grace and possess nothing but admirable mannerisms? I find these striking juxtapositions perplexing and confess strangely intoxicating. I wonder if I've gone mad to form such a pact with her. Gamzee says, wow, I got no freaking clue what you're talking about. Who is she? Equus says, I shouldn't be talking about this. You're the enemy. And then he stopped trolling Gamzee. Friska, be in cahoots with Equus. Cahoots. Friska began trolling Equus, and she says, Equus. And he says, what? She says, hey, I'm about to meddle with so many losers right now. He says, how many? And she says, so many. All the losers. All of them. He says, good. Use your cunning and venom to make them envy our nobility. She says, oh man, was that sarcasm? That sounded like sarcasm. He says, no. Humorous insincerity is for pedantic wigglers. She says, psh, I know you never make jokes. I was the one being sarcastic, you stooge. And I was being sarcastic about you being sarcastic. Duh. That's because you're a little worse than me. She says, the frick I am. Anyway, hey, did you finish Erida's present yet? Because I'm about to fuss with her, and I want to know if I can keep my promise, or if you're going to make a liar out of me. It's finished. I'll deliver it shortly. Great, thanks, buddy. I'll be waiting here for you. Happy to help, but I don't understand why you're intent on gratifying that worthless present. Because I promised I would, and it's none of your dang business, man. Quit your prying. Always fidgeting and poking and prying. Fine, then let's proceed with the plan in a curt and professional manner. Agreed. So, just to review, we will let Erida perpetuate her cute little ploy on Solix and usurp his power. Yes. Isn't it funny when these chumps try and get all tactical and underhanded? It's really adorable. I guess it is pretty quaint. Anyway, she makes her little power grab, and that's when we both step in and usurp her as co-leaders. Right? That's the plan. Okay, good. Then the best team will be led by the two highest bloods, the way it should be. Or at least the highest bloods who aren't crappy clown worshippers or underwater freaks. Sound good? Yes, we are in absolute agreement. Yes? Yes. 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 Yes! Stop. Great. What a great team we are. Hey, you wouldn't be planning anything sneaky, would you? No, don't be absurd. Are you? What? How could you suggest such a thing? Man, so insulting. Okay. Perfect. We have the perfect plan, and no one is plotting any sort of double crossings or backstabbery or anything like that. There are no crossings up my sleeve. Also, I don't have sleeves. I am as transparent as can be, and my word is my bond. I know. Don't worry, dude. I trust you completely.
You know, I can feel you trying to read my mind.
Bullcrap. Probably just another one of your mini daily rage aneurysms. Why don't you cool your jets and have a glass of gross muscle beast milk?
Get out of my head, it's making me angry. Try to remember who built your arm for you.
Oh gosh, don't you dare! Robo-slap. Equius, go check on Erida's present. You delve deeper into your hive where you store many of your robotic projects. The layer doubles as the caged arena where you battle them. Under the tarp is the completed gift. You, of course, have no intention of delivering this to your neighbor as promised. You naturally will double-cross your accomplice, just as you assume she has plans to double-cross you. You assume she is assuming the same of you. Business as usual for Blue Bloods. You will deliver it to Erida yourself to gain her favor, and then double-cross her and take your rightful position as team leader. How ironic that someone of your blood purity must work to win the favor of the lowest sort of peasant. Humiliating, strangely titillating even, but in the end, class order will be restored. Equius, remove tarp. You reveal her sparkling new chassis. You have paid a great deal of attention to the quality and detail of this model. She is perfect. You don't know what to make of the feeling that stirs. For one like you to entertain the thoughts of attraction for such genetic filth would be utter depravity. Exquisite, delectable depravity. Why, Erida, it appears the red glass of your eyes caught the pink and green glint of the moons in their perigee. The sweet poetry almost makes a man forget how the grime that once filled your veins made his stomach turn. It is a good omen for illicit lovers. Could you imagine the scandal if anyone found out? No one must ever know. But worry not. Your heart will pump no more of that despicable red sludge. You will have been given a new heart. You can be taught the ways of the class you were always meant for. No one is beyond redemption. Be grateful, dear Erida, for the time in your meaningless life you have met a man, for the first time, you've met a man with true compassion. And just what do you think you're looking at? Keep your cold, mechanical judgment to yourself. As if your own record is so spotless. Don't forget who made you. Oh, what's that? My, that's a smart mouth you have. That was the last straw. An example must be made out of this insubordination. Example. Robo-splode. Pop. The Canative Doomsday Dice Cascader is unfortunately activated. It's apparently a thing from Problem Sleuth. The lousy thing breaks. You seriously cannot believe how unbelievably crappy this Doomsday device is. Snap. Arthur! Moments earlier, Vriska meddled with Terezi. Vriska began trolling Terezi and says, "It looks like tonight we will have to break our truce, or at least suspend it. Hope you don't mind." Terezi says, "How do you figure that?" Vriska says, "Because tonight we will play a game together for the first time in, I don't even know, forever." Terezi says, "The truce wasn't about not playing games together, dummy. It's about not stabbing each other in the back anymore. It's stopping the endless cycle of revenge. And above all, not using your powers to hurt people who don't deserve it." Vriska says, "Man, you like to give me such a hard time about all that. I can't catch a break. Can't you see I'm trying to put all that behind me and make amends with everybody?" "No, of course you can't see that. What am I saying?" Terezi says, "It's hard to believe you with all the lying you've done. Your blueberry bubblegum words still smell pretty good, but your deceit stinks." Angry eyebrows, 8 eyes, open mouth. Briska says, sad face with 8 eyes. I'll prove it to you. I'm giving Erida a present that will make her feel all better, finally. Then I'll be in the clear. Phew, totally redeemed. You'll see. I mean smell. Terzi says, I don't know why you're bothering trying to help her. She won't care. Whatever it was you did to her, I think you broke her brain. It's so terrible. Briska says, man, why can't you cut me some slack for once? It's not like I even did anything that bad to you. I lost 7 eyes. You only lost 2. I would say you came out ahead in the bargain. Terzi says, I know. And actually, I never really got the chance to thank you. Angry eyebrows, happy open mouth. Briska says, ugh, your sarcasm really stings when here I am just trying to be nice. Okay, I guess I deserve it. Terzi says, I'm serious though, but I don't expect you to get that. Briska says, fine, be that way. But you shouldn't sit there and pretend we're so different. Remember Team Scourge? How convenient. All that must be to have forgotten. You were so nasty. Oh man, if you crossed Terzi Pyrope, you were fricked. She says, yeah, if you were a bad guy, we were supposed to be like a vigilante duo dispensing justice. And you could take the bad guys home and feed them to your stupid spider. But instead, you just fed her everybody. And lied and lied and lied. Briska says, yeah, those were the days. I mean, the days full of mistakes and regret. But it was still a lot of fun, watching you dismantle huge teams of flarpers with nothing but politics and head games, without even using any special powers. Wow. Terzi says, meh. And Briska says, come on, what do I have to do here? Terzi says, I don't know. Briska says, well, if you want to know what I think, you should start changing your tune. Because even though you got all these highfalutin morals and fancy reservations, you don't know as well as me that a killer is a killer is a killer. There ain't no change in your ways for good, and one day you're gonna flail that crappy little taint of yours and not find nothing to bump into, and fall face first into the crap again. And you're gonna do something terrible to somebody and wish you could take it back, but you can't. And then you'll work hard to win back their trust, and you try and you try and you try, and you'll see how hard it is. You'll see. Terzi says, I doubt it. Briska says, you'll see. I am whispering that, and it is echoing and ominous. You'll see. You'll see. Terzi says, will you can it, secret circuit? Briska says, ha 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 ha. And then she stopped trolling Terzi, who says, angry eyebrows, X eyes, O mouth. And then Briska began trolling Terzi again, and says, whoa, what was that? Terzi says, what was what? Briska says, there was a loud noise outside my hive. It sounded like an explosion. Terzi says, wow, really? Briska says, and then another one. And now something that sounds like an avalanche. Terzi says, well, if I had to guess, I would say it was probably 2 explosions and then an avalanche. Briska says, that dumba is probably punching robots again. I will go outside and look. Briska says, okay, try not to get burned or crushed to death or anything. That would be awful. Briska says, you got it. Smiley face with too many eyes. And then she stopped trolling Terzi. And much earlier than that, Terzi began trolling Erida for a flashback. And she says, how is he? Erida says, okay. He can't walk though. Probably never will. Terzi says, angry eyebrows, frowny face. Maybe he could be fixed with robo-prosthetics. If you didn't mind getting help from... Nah, angry eyebrows, slanty mouth. Erida says, no. Neither he or I should have ever had anything to do with those hateful snobs. It was a big mistake. No offense, wide-eyed face, flat mouth. Terzi says, that's okay. I'm a little too teal for their taste anyway. Angry eyebrows, smiley face. Erida says, I don't see why they'd lift a finger to help him. They hate us both so much. I'm so mad. Terzi says, I hope you're not thinking of doing anything in retaliation. It'll end badly. You should let me handle it. Erida says, I'm not scared of her. She can't control me. She tried. It doesn't work. Terzi says, I know, but trust me, if you piss her off, she'll find a way to get to you. This is really tricky, just let me deal with it. Erda says, but it was my fault. I was too distracted when I could have helped him. Terzi says, I was too. We were both distracted by the same thing. Erda says, yeah, who was he anyway? Terzi says, pretty sure it was Briska's friend. Erda says, what was he doing there? Watching us. Terzi says, who knows? He's not really your friend, no. You should see how he talks about her behind her back. She has no idea how bad he's playing her. But then I don't think he knows how bad she's playing him either. See, it's complicated. You really need to stay out of it and let me deal with this. Erda says, I guess so. I feel powerless sitting here doing nothing, though. It's like she wins, even if you get her back. Terzi says, don't think of it that way. I know how to stop her. Trust me. Erda says, I guess our gaming days are over then. Us four, at least. Terzi says, yep, I'm pretty much done with her. It's probably best you listen to the advice of your friend. And yet, the voices are as lucid as ever. They urge you to make her pay. Erda, make her pay. It's a shame it had to come to this. You don't like summoning the spirits of the dead to settle scores. But if she had to face her victims again, maybe she'd finally learn to feel remorse. Briska, answer the white text guy. He says, well? And she says, well, what? I'm surrounded by ghosts and kind of freaking out about it. He says, I know. I'm asking what you intend to do about it. She says, I don't know. I guess I'll just curl in a little ball and cry and hope they go away. Is that what you want to hear, you sick freak? And he says, aren't you going to kill her? She says, who? He says, your friend, the one who summoned the spirits. She says, will that make them go away? And he says, does it matter? She brought them here to torment you. This obviously warrants revenge. You know you're going to anyway. You won't be able to help yourself. She says, I don't have to. Crap. Maybe I don't mind ghosts. Maybe they're great company once I'm used to them. He says, no, they're terrifying you. There's only one thing to do. She says, okay, why don't you kill her? Be my guest. Wow, thanks for offering. What a pal. He says, that's not how I work. And she says, oh, really? Well, you seem pretty excited about killing Tavros, too. And you even helped. So I guess that is how you work after all. He says, not really. All I did was stand somewhere for a few minutes. I just gave you an opportunity to do something you wanted to do anyway. You hated him, remember? She says, I know I did. I still do, I guess. I don't know. But I was never going to kill these people. They were like off limits, I guess. These games were supposed to be fun and serve no other purpose. He says, they were serving a very important purpose. She says, yeah, okay, you getting off on talking a girl into killing her buddies sure is important, loser. He says, again, I didn't talk you into anything, nor am I doing so now. You were and are going to do this regardless. I only ever place myself in positions of tangential involvement with events that will bring about my employer's entry into this universe. I oversee the events as they take place, and ever so slightly nudge them into motion when necessary. She says, I'm beginning to think you really believe that. So delusional. You're just a pathetic, lonely gamer who buys into his own character profile BS. He says, the omniscient have no need for beliefs and no room for delusion. She says, ha 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 ha. You're the dumbest omniscient person I ever met. Sure, you know a lot, but I know for a fact there's stuff you don't know. He says, that's true, but the gaps in my knowledge exist by design. There are pillars of shadow on which my comprehensive vision is built, necessary pockets of void meant to effectuate outcomes I've foreseen, and which will require my influence. Each dark pocket in time will be filled, but I wonder why I waste this nuance on you. She says, because you need to add more blatant lies to patch up all the holes in your sad cover story. He says, don't lie. Deception is only necessary for those like you to achieve their objectives. I play with my cards face up. Isn't it funny how during our various matches I can tell you what my moves will be in advance and still win? And she says, tongue stick out face with 8 eyes. Yeah, but I'm getting closer to beating you. You'll see. He says, look at that. The short amount of time I have reserved for arguing with a child has expired. I will go. But maybe you're right. Maybe you're a person with free will and you won't kill your friend. What do I know? Enjoy your haunting. Vriska, make her pay. Of course he's right. Not much point in living with all these moaning spooks just to spite some guy you don't give a crap about. But how to go about it? Can't control her. It can be difficult to manipulate the mind of the psychically gifted. Hi. Let's see, who else is there? Terzi? Forget about it. What about that guy? Nah. Her? Nope. Not him either. How about this guy? Unfortunately, you can only control him about half the time. Then again, that should be all the time you need. Vriska began trolling Erida and says, Erida. And Erida says, what? And she says, nice trick, with the ghosts and all. Man, you got me pretty good. Erida said, I would rather not talk to you. Vriska says, fair enough. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, that's all. Erida says, I'm not the one you should apologize to. And Vriska says, yeah, I know. I'll make it up to him someday. Don't worry. Anyway, hey, guess what? I got a message from you from your boyfriend. He's outside your hive right now. Erida says, not falling for it. Vriska says, take a look. Erida says, I don't see anything out there. Vriska says, well, okay, I'm just a messenger. If you want to risk missing him, then suit yourself. Later. It must be a trick. He surely would have told you if he was making the trip all the way out here from his hive stem. Solix? The Rivadarchi Megiddo, I forgot. And then Vriska stopped trolling Erida. Megiddo? Be the white text guy. You try to be the white text guy, but fail to be the white text guy. No one can be the white text guy except for the white text guy. The white text guy is known as Doc Scratch. He is an officer of an indestructible demon known as Lord English. His job is to pave the way for the arrival of his master, who will be summoned upon the termination of the universe. He has worked at this task for many centuries and will continue to do so until the Great Undoing. Scratch is Alternia's first guardian. Every planet destined for intelligent life has such an entity meant to protect it and facilitate the planet's ultimate purpose. A first guardian is typically almost as old as the planet itself, and each has a unique circuitous origin through the knots of paradox space. They can be born into a great diversity of forms, though they all share a common, especially potent genetic sequence. The code grants them a near omnipotence, and when merged with a host of great intelligence, near omniscience as well. What will he do? It's up to him. All we can do is stand here and watch. What's he up to now? Hard to say, since we're not telling him what to do. Guardians can never be told what to do. Neither the omnipotent kind nor the ordinary kind who raise kids in their houses. It's the universal law of reality. Looks like he's pondering over his next move and a game he is playing with some wicked troll girl down on the planet. Usually, these matches are no contest, but she's been closer to beating him lately, and he has no idea how this is possible. Uncertainty, though rare, is quite a troubling sensation for the omniscient. What's this? It appears someone is contacting him. Tap, 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 tap. More bothersome uncertainty. How is it this youngster is able to relay an unsolicited message? He doesn't even have an account name. She says, hey, white text guy, I have a tip for you. And he says, how were you able to contact me? Oh, it's Vriska, sorry. Never mind, I figured it out instantly. And she says, really? And he says, wait, no, I'm sorry, it's Terezi, I'm a clown. He says, yes, through my limitless intellect. Occasionally, I discover there are things I have not always known. It gives me the opportunity to make deductions, which are practically always flawless. It's gratifying. Oh, okay, that's neat, I guess. He says, you ask your clever friend with the colorful spectacles to trace the source of my messages. He then established a relay for your messages to reach this source through some sort of computational proxy. I gather he has recovered from his implementation as a weapon in the sabotage of your mutual friend, whom you both believe to be dead. Teresi says, oh my gosh, white text guy, shut up. I'm trying to give you a message here. I have a name. It's not white text guy. She says, oh, what is it? And he says, I'm not going to tell you my name, but if you wish, you may refer to me as Mr. Vanilla Milkshake. She says, you are so weird, why would I do that? He says, it's perfectly in keeping with a habit which you will develop in the future. She says, I doubt it. And he says, why? She says, sounds kind of silly and frivolous. Blah, why do you keep derailing me? You're right, Solix is working with me and we have important business for you to consider. Wait, you said we believe our friend is dead. Is she not? He says, yes, I said you believe she is dead, and you will soon believe she is not. Both statements are true, and yet each exhibits a trace of falsehood. She says, wow, why did I bother asking? No wonder she snapped. She's got to deal with your stupid riddles all the time. Anyway, can you just help me get my revenge so we can call it a night? He says, why would I involve myself in your paltry feud beyond the extent I already have? I believe the need to exert such influence has come to an end. She says, because you'll want to when you hear what I have to say. And he says, I doubt it. She says, haven't you wondered how she can come close to beating you in games lately? Honestly, I'm surprised you haven't deduced it yet, with your shiny white super brain. He says, it's disturbing, but sometimes that is the nature of these hollows in my perception. It feels a bit like dark water sloshing about the cavity in my head. What do you know of this? She says, she's cheating. She always cheats if she can find a way. Lately, she's used the same advantage she uses against me when we play games. But she told me about it. She tells me a lot of stuff like that, probably to rub it in my face. But she'd never risk telling you. He says, what advantage is this? She says, hold on. I have to talk to your partner. Crime for a second. Angry eyebrows, smiley mouth. And he says, I thought you were hers. And she says, angry eyebrows, tongue sticky out of your mouth. Terezi, orchestrate demise of the wicked. She went too far this time and she knows it. She's got to pay. Justice is long overdue. The only sad part is how easy it's going to be. It will take no skilled manipulator to orchestrate her downfall. She's a waste of your talents. Terezi, contact partner in crime. Terezi began trolling Vriska. And says, hey Vriska, anything to say? And Vriska says, no. About what? Terezi says, about killing her, after you said you wouldn't. Vriska says, oh, that? I thought we were done talking about it. We concluded I messed up and I'm completely horrible in every way. I can only feel so awful, you know. Here, I'm banging my head against the desk now. Bang, bang, bang. Are you happy? And Terezi says, not really. Vriska says, oh, what do you want from me? Terezi says, I'm not sure. I guess I'm looking for some reason to change my mind. I don't know what you can say that'll do it. I sort of hope there's something, though. Vriska says, you should lighten up a bit. Maybe even congratulate me. Wow, great job, Vriska. Single-handedly taking out Team Charge like that? No more competition from those low-class clowns. Terezi says, nah, that wasn't it. Vriska says, okay, well, change your mind about what? What are you going to do, Pyro? Terezi says, I was probably just going to kill you. Vriska says, ha ha ha. You mean from your tree? With all your amazing powers? Tell me, what sort of powers do tree girls have? Swinging from vines and stuff? Terezi says, my tree doesn't have vines. Sometimes I let other people swing from ropes, though. Yeah, anyway, you'll be dead in a couple minutes. Vriska says, yeah, right. Complete and total muscle beast crap. Terzi says, if you don't believe me, why don't you consult with your little advantage? It seems to have all the answers. Vriska says, I don't need to do that to know you're bluffing. Terzi says, yeah, but you know you're gonna anyway. Addiction is a powerful thing. And Grandpa's smiley face. See ya. And then she ceased trolling Vriska. Vriska, consult little advantage. She can't be serious. What could possibly lead to your demise in a matter of minutes? What could it possibly be? You consult with your magic cue ball, an extremely rare treasure you recently plundered from an ancient crypt, and one of many rumored to be hidden across the globe. Each at one time belonged to the strange and powerful man fabled to live on the Green Moon, but has since managed to escape his vision. It is said to make predictions with alarming precision and specificity. Unfortunately, it lacks a portal on its surface that allows you to view the prediction. So who could say whether or sure its predictions were accurate? It would require someone with X-ray vision. Or just maybe, someone with Vision Eightfold. You channel your powerful eyesight through your customized lenses and whisper to the faithful little oracle, should you be worried about Terzi's threat? Yes. Terzi, inform Mr. Vanilla Milkshake about his missing orb. She has what? Terzi says, angry eyebrows, open mouth. Okay, little ball, fine. If you're so smart, then answer this. How is it gonna happen? How? I will explode in your face. Boom. In the aftermath of more recent misfortune, one retrieves his dead custodian from the rubble below. Another finds hers struggling to survive. You guess you gotta put her down. The question is, do you have the luck to get it done? Would a sufficient roll even qualify as good luck in this case? You don't know. Vriska, roll. Hello. Maybe the dead girl is onto something. Maybe the only way to beat your bad luck is not caring about the outcome. Hi. 7 of the fluorite octet land, narrowing the field down from the full 8 of 8. 1 tumbles through the air. It will decide among the 8 remaining techniques. Tumble. Guillotine de la Marquise. Splorsh. Au revoir, Spider-Mom. Collapse. Your mercy killing triggers another avalanche. More rotten luck. Okay. Vriska, what's her deal? Vriska began trolling Erida and says, what's your deal? Erida says, what do you mean? Did you just zap Equius into the game? His hive disappeared. Are you not happy about that? Heck no! I was supposed to get your surprise present from him. That he was keeping from me, but only temporarily. And then we were gonna jump in the game together, as co-leaders, remember? You were about to be killed by his hive. Proceeding with the plan wouldn't have made sense. We certainly don't need 2 dead players. But, you knew this was gonna happen. You were planning it all along. You're planning all this. I know a schemer when I see one. Yes, it was the plan. It had to go this way. No, it had to go the way we said it would. I was gonna give you the present I convinced him to make for you. Me! It wouldn't have got made if not for me. And then you could have a body again and everything would be fine. Then we could go back to being friends again. Were we ever really friends? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like we were, even if you don't think so. I guess I'm not very good at acting like a friend, or saying stuff like, hey friend, you're my friend. It doesn't really occur to me. But we were. Why would you play with me if you didn't think I was your friend?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Blah. More of this apathetic baloney. Why don't you cut the ghost girl act already? I get it. You're dead and spooky. Ribbit.
Hmm.
Okay. Pretty odd.
Sorry.
That's cool. You can ribbit if you want. In a weird way, it almost makes you sound normal. So what now? I guess you and Equus co-lead since you managed to usurp me, that cunning bastard. I guess I follow you into the game instead? Fine by me. I'll follow you guys. Just give me my orders, boss.
No, you're not on the blue team.
What the frick?
You were never going to be.
I get it. I finally see now. This is your revenge. You finally did it, Megiddo. You got me pretty good. Well played.
It's not revenge. You were always supposed to be on the red team. You will believe me later, when you wake up.
What a load of crap! You've been plotting your revenge since day one. I fell for it like a sucker. Can't say I blame you.
I never thought about revenge at all.
But why not? I killed you.
I don't care.
Ah! You're so infuriating. Why can't you just hate me? It'd be a lot easier that way. Or at least feel bothered or annoyed or something. Gosh! Maybe I should just rip my heart out of my chest and pound it to a bloody pulp here on my desk with my super strong robot arm. Pound, 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 pound. Look at that. More nasty blue blood all over me. Why not? Might as well open the floodgates and paint my whole hive with this oh so inevitable cerulean swill, because clearly it's up to me when to feel emotions for both of us, you miserable soulless witch.
Erda says, wide-eyed face with flat mouth.
Briska says, I hate you. Hate, 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 hate. I only regret killing you because it made you so boring.
Sorry. I don't want to be on the red team, sad face with 8 eyes. It's full of jerks who just think I'm a big jerk. They need you to, though, and it's where you need to be. Carcat will be in touch with you soon.
Oh gosh, I can't wait for that conversation.
Also, if it's any consolation, the teams are meaningless anyway.
What? Why would that be a consolation? It's more vague, spooky nonsense. Frick you for trying. Frick you for me trying to help you. Frick the blue team. Frick your conniving. Frick Equius's double dealing and the stupid muscle beast he rode on. And frick you for saving my life. Frick you!
She stopped trolling Erida.
And soon, in a place known as the Land of Caves and Silence,
Equius let her know the deal. Equius began trolling Erida and says, Erida, here's the deal. Now that the game has begun, the plan will be modified slightly. We will not be co-leaders of the blue team. I alone will be the leader. Is that understood? And she says, that's fine. And he says, good. Wait, you have no objection? Are you sure? And she says, no, I'm okay with it. He says, do you typically embrace such a passive attitude when your superiors give you orders?
She says, I don't usually receive orders from superiors or otherwise, but really, it's fine.
He says,
She says, what?
He says, I think I should get a towel. I'm perspiring heavily again.
She says, why? What's wrong?
He says, never mind. I'm trying to stay professional about this.
She says, about what? What are you talking about?
He says, forget it. It's just pleasant to consort with one of lesser breeding who clearly understands her place.
She says, I've understood for some time that this will be my role, to function as your server player, and that you would be the team leader as the first in the chain.
He says, perfect. Then we are on the same page. I look forward to seeing how well you serve me, server player.
She says, that's not quite the meaning of the word server.
And he says, what do you mean?
She says, as your server, I manipulate your environment to help you advance. He says, I don't understand. Are you saying that you are in a position of control over me? She says, I suppose so. And he says, oh. And she says, what? And he says, oh my gosh. And she says, shocked face with flat mouth. He says, this is impropriety of a caliber I cannot even... You are so low on the hemo spectrum. You are as low on the hemo spectrum as possible. To consider that someone so low would be in a position of authority over me, it's just so disgusting. She says, you really are quite a snob. And he says, no, it's filthy. And she says, wide-eyed face, flat mouth. He says, I need some air, or some cold milk, or a towel. I need a towel. Where the frick are all my first towels? I mean, fiddlesticks, please pardon my language. It won't happen again. She says, you look really agitated. Are you sure you're alright? I'm fine. I'll be fine. I just need to breathe and break something, possibly. She says, break something? And he says, yes, it helps me relax. And she says, oh, I think I understand. He says, do you? She says, I like breaking things. I didn't used to, but now I do. It's fun. Hello? Are you sure you're okay? And he says, yes. She says, you really do look like you're sweating pretty hard. He says, I just need a blasted towel. Wherever did that Arthur get off to? She says, maybe you should break something to try and calm down. He says, perhaps. She says, do you want me to break something? And he says, whoa, what? She says, I could break something if you want. And he says, do you want to break something? And she says, kind of. And he says, okay. She says, Aqueous, I'm about to throw an ablution trap through your wall. Heads up. And he says, yes. Yes, that was wonderful. She says, it was pretty cool. He says, but could you please refrain from dipping into the vernacular of commoners? In fact, this is an order from your leader. Call things by their proper names. She says, what? You want me to call it a bathtub? That sounds ridiculous. He says, nevertheless, do it. She says, fine. He says, now, could you please, do that again? He says, what? You want me to throw the trap through your wall again? I mean, the tub. And he says, yes. She says, is that an order? And he says, yes. Wait, I don't know. And she says, what don't you know? He says, maybe I don't want to order you to. Maybe I want you to do whatever things you want to do. And she says, I really have no idea what you're talking about. He says, you could cause quite a bother for me with the power you wield. I can do nothing to stop you, peasant girl. It's so magnificently depraved. She says, you're so weird. And this is coming from a ghost. Ribbit. He says, what was that? Are you role-playing now? Stop, it's unbecoming. She says, sorry. He says, you're better than that. And by better, I mean worse. Much, much worse. Downright coarse and degenerate. Just reprehensibly sordid. And she says, shocked face with flat mouth. And he says, actually, yes, you may roleplay and proceed to deepen this already irretrievable debauchery. In fact, I command it. I command you to have free will and do as you please, and continue being bothersome and unpredictably destructive. I mean, if you want. And she says, I'm not role-playing, I'm part frog, but okay. I guess I can break some more stuff. Ribbit. He says, yes, ribbit again. And she says, I can't really control the ribbits. He says, I will make haste through this mysterious realm and find your gate. It will pose no challenge for me at all. She says, yeah, I know. And he says, I will then give you your new body, and you may take your rightful place as my subordinate. And she says, sure. And he says, actually, now I'm beginning to wonder. She says, what? He says, whether I want you to be my subordinate. I hope this doesn't sound too strange. He says, everything you say sounds strange. He says, maybe I would like you to be the co-leader again. And she says, okay. And he says, in fact,
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm entertaining this thought. It feels just vile. Try not to roll your eyes at me. She says, I don't have pupils. He says, would you mind terribly being the leader? And she says, fine. He says, but don't tell anyone. You will be the leader of me, and I will lead all else. You would, in effect, be the secret leader. She says, yeah, sure. That's pretty much how it is anyway. He says, yes, that's the spirit. You take authority well for one of your blood. She says, I don't have blood. And he says, not yet, but soon your heart will beat anew, and through it, fresh blood and fresh passion. She says, shock face with flat mouth. Wow, can you just bring me the robot already? And he says, on my way. And then he sees trolling Erida, and she says, ribbit. Equius, proceed to second gate. Strong jump. Ruin. This poses no challenge for you at all. Equius, enter. Strong fall. Equius, deliver present. Her sprite says, it looks nice. And he says, yes, it's perfect in every way. And she says, ribbit. He says, do you have a clean towel anywhere? Erida sprite, enter Soulbot. He says, I think it suits you, much more than the form of a levitating ghostly amphibian. How does it feel? And she says, it feels different. Okay, but I mean, do you feel anything else? She says, any sort of stirring sensations? Stirring? Yes, such as sensations which might be stirred by flowing blood and a beating heart. She says, I'm not sure. He says, can you detect anything within you might describe as smoldering passion? I mean, just out of curiosity.
Wait, what is that?
What's what?
This feeling. Oh my gosh, what did you do?
Did you program this robot to have feelings for you? Romantic feelings?
He says, hey.
She says, answer me, blue blood scum. He says, yes, it's a chip in your heart. Is that not okay? She says, get it out.
He says, I guess I can uninstall it if you would just... She says, get it out. He says, sorry, I'll... And she says, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. Plunge. Rip. Pound, 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 pound. Smack, 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 smack. Nepeta update wall.
You consult your shipping wall. Clearly some changes are in order. You must admit you didn't see this one coming, even with your remarkable matchmaking acumen. You should probably recolor all the Erida panels so she looks like a robot too. It's a major commitment keeping up with all your ships, but it's worth it.
Carcat rescue Vriska.
Carcat began trolling Vriska, and he says, okay, this is going to sound preposterous given our last conversation, and I guess practically every conversation preceding it, and I'm probably going to have to do something completely disgusting like apologize, even though I'll hate myself for it. I will totally mean it, I promise. Like, really, really mean it. And she says, you're gonna ask me to join your team, aren't you? And he says, yeah, how did you know? She says, I don't seem to have much choice now. Erida kicked me off the good team. And he says, ha 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 ha. Wow, that is great. Wait, sorry. No, wait, I don't have to apologize. That's right, you have no choice now. I apologize to myself for offering you a crappy, meaningless apology. Apology accepted, Carcat. Let's bury the Thresher with a totally platonic bro bulge bump. Bump. Ha 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 ha. She says, you dork. Do you really think your usual pedantic quips are going to bug me now? He
He says, I'm not trying to bug you, I'm trying to get you to join my dang team. Now step in line, circuit. She says, I was just betrayed and abandoned by my two accomplices and best pals, and on top of that, I'm now soaked in the blood of my Lucis, which I just had to decapitate myself, so listening to a crabby butthole be all tickled with his own mediocre retorts isn't going to spoil my evening. He says, okay, well, sorry to hear about that, but I mean, you can just dump her carcass in the kernel and bring her back stronger than ever. She says, wow, good to know, I guess. Eight-eyed slanty mouth. He says, now why don't you hop in the trap, wash that nasty blue crap off, and join our freaking session already? He says, what? That is so rude. To dictate hygiene procedure to a lady, under any circumstance, even for douchey loudmouths with delusions of leadership. Maybe you should try to think about the dumb things that fall out of your protein chute for once, Vantus. He says, blah, blah, blah. Now my chute is doing a freaking stellar impression of something that doesn't give a crap. She says, anyway, you know my blood's the prettiest, and you'd obviously kill to have it. He says, no, it sucks. Totally happy with mine. Nice try, though. She says, BS. Why would you hide behind your lame gray anonymity then? Anonymity. You do realize everyone thinks that's totally lame, right? He says, nobody's business. I don't see why it should be a matter of public record. I'm not going to wear that crap on my sleeve like you do, literally and figuratively. It's private, so everyone can go point their probing busybody sniff nodes up their own impertinent seed flaps. She says, fine, like anyone really cares. Just lame and insecure. So why don't you tell me what I've got to do here? I await instructions from my big shot eight-blooded leader. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. A-blooded. Okay, first things first. You've got to connect with Tavros quickly and get him in the session before he gets killed. And she says, ugh. He says, what? She says, can't someone else do that? He says, no, why? And she says, squished face with 8 eyes. He says, what's the big deal? Just do it. She says, but I hate that guy. He says, who cares? She says, this is your command decision? Getting someone who hates a guy to save his life? Pretty weak, boss. He says, why do you even hate him? It's freaking ridiculous. If anything, you should pity him, especially since you were the one who paralyzed him. She says, I know, I just don't really understand it. It's just a really special kind of hate. It never goes away. It doesn't make a lot of sense. He says, this is kind of a weird time to be confiding in me about your feelings of black romance, but okay. She says, oh gosh, what? He says, I mean, if you're really implying Tavros is your kismesis, I think you're braying up the wrong frond nub. Both parties have to hate each other equally. I mean, like true hate. Maybe your feelings come somewhat close to fitting the bill, but I don't think he can hate anyone. It's weird, he's kind of broken in the head. She says, frick, what are you talking about? He says, I think this subject is beyond a lot of people's grasp, but I know a lot about it. Nobody ever really wants to talk to me about it, though. And she says, whoa, really? No crap, really? He says, okay, most people who haven't had their lobe stem cauterized are capable of feeling the two primary emotions, hate and pity. Pity is, of course, just the toned-down version of the central emotion, hate, and all the nuances of pity manifest as various other kinds of feelings, like whatever chemical reactions trigger mating fondness, or the mysterious forces that are behind moral allegiance. Alright, moral allegiance. She says, Carcat, holy frick, so boring. He says, a well-balanced person is going to have a good distribution between hate and the various pity humors. Having a good balance keeps all the emotions sharper. See, I think that's your problem. She says, oh? I hope you know I already wore out some good note-taking pens today. All the pens. All of them. He says, see, my hate is like a finely tuned instrument because I'm aware of these principles. I can hate a hole in paradox space itself, straight through to a new reality, fresh for the hating. And she says, ha, you don't even know how much I'm laughing at this. He says, but see, you're too heavy on the hate side. Or at least, you pretend to be, which is maybe worse. She says, "You aren't reading anything I say, are you? You just want to talk and talk and talk." He says, "And you think you're hating up everyone hard when you're really just burning out that entire emotional hemisphere. It's like lukewarm hate, pretender's hate, with no counterpoint at all. As such, there's no real substance to your hate. It's like a cardboard movie prop, which is why your brain is broken, kind of like Tavros's, but on the opposite hemisphere, I guess. Or maybe your broken brain led to the imbalance in the first place, I don't know. Whatever the case, you're kind of emotionally screwed, sorry to say. Your hate's too dull for a proper kismesis, in my opinion. And I don't see anyone chomping at the bit to be your moral, honestly. Unless there's someone out there who would actually bother pitting you. And landing a mate sprit? Ha ha ha. Seriously, like that would even interest you. Basically, any feature of your emotional profile that usually makes someone viable in the red rom department must be totally fried. Your black rom potentials probably toast too. Hey, are you there? And she says, "Oh yeah, I started tuning you out. Are you done?" And he says, "No way, I could go on. This is fascinating. Tell me how the frick this isn't fascinating." And she says, "Did you learn this crap from your awful romance movies?" And he says, "They're really intriguing sociologically, incredibly complex, sophisticated stories. You wouldn't get it." She says, "Hey, butthole, stop watching movies for girls." He says, "What part of intriguing sociologically didn't you understand? Also, they're awesome, shut up." She says, "Ugh, okay. Just let me connect to stupid boy dumb frick so I don't have to listen to this anymore." He says, "Yeah, okay. Oh, wait, I never even got to the dang point." And she says, "What is it now?" He says, "I didn't need you to specifically connect to Tavros. I mean, I could just get any schlub to do that. You just have to get in here ASAP because I really need your mind powers." She says, "You do? I mean, obviously you do. Duh. What for?" He says, "I ran into someone here. A sort of double agent, I guess. His name is Jack. He says he has some inside information about his kingdom. He wants to work together with us to overthrow the Black Queen. So I said okay, and now I need your help." She says, "Okay, I can try. What does he know?" He says he recently got hold of some intel regarding a weakness in the Queen's defenses, but I don't know any more than that. But we've got to hurry and get started on this thing, or it could get kind of awkward." "Awkward? What do you mean?" He says, "I mean, he's just standing here now, waiting for me, I guess. But it's okay, I think he's pretty much settled down." She says, "Settled down?" He says, "Well, he stabbed me once." And she says, "Oh, only once. Are you sure you should trust him? I don't know if I would, but hey, I'm not the leader." And he says, No, it's cool, he's cool. It's fine, I don't really mind the stabbing, it was all a misunderstanding." "Well, okay, I'm pretty sure he meant to stab me, but I kind of think that's like the way he greets people." She says, "This game is so stupid." He says, "In any case, I think he's probably all stabbed out." And she says, "Phew, oh man. Since you're bleeding, I should ask Terezi what color your blood is." He says, "Good luck with that. She can't see or smell me or anything. I'm way out of my hive somewhere else on the planet." She says, "Okay, then I'll ask Jack." And he says, "No, Jack won't tell. I made him promise he wouldn't tell." She says, "Dang it, stupid, lousy, tight-lipped, stab-happy double agents. Doesn't Trollian have some kind of viewport feature?" And he says, "Yeah, but I'm pretty sure only Solix knows how to set that up, and he's been incommunicando for hours for some reason. Anyway, that whole feature seems totally invasive and largely pointless to me, so just forget it." She says, "Yeah, okay, here we are about to embark on an espionage mission. A spying tool sounds totally useless. Another great point, Captain." And he says, "Whatever, just get your butt in here so we can dethrone this gosh dang queen. I mean, one less god boss we have to fight, it'll mean." He says, "Fine, I'll be right there. Just try not to lose too much of your mystery blood and die." She stopped, and then she stopped short for a second. "Hey, did that bat be Jack a few minutes ago? You find the kid you've been looking for. He's got a pretty sharp tongue, can't seem to keep it sheathed. He should learn up front you're no stranger to sharp objects yourself." He still won't shut up. He doesn't seem to care about the wound. He's just going on and on about the freakish color of his blood. He doesn't want you to look at it. "Just look away," he says. "You gotta admit, now you're curious."
Jack, look at the knife. You don't see what the big deal is. Nothing special. This kid's out of his mind. But he's still blubbering on about it. It seems he's the only one with this kind of mutant candy red blood. An outcast. He thinks he was put on this planet covered in an ocean of his own blood to be taunted, punished or something. Saddest story you ever heard. Gotta do something to shut him up. Carcat, be in cahoots with Jack. You and your like-blooded accomplice soon put Operation Regisurp into motion, a contingency plan in which the arch-agent conveniently had on file and named himself. If it were drafted by a legitimate contingency firm, it would, ostensibly, have been given a better title. Your whole team executes the plan along the course of its journey, employing espionage, mind control tactics, political sabotage, vicious interrogations, and cold-blooded assassinations. Everyone does their part, and you begin to learn the true meaning of teamwork, as well as this troll disease called friendship. Okay, that's enough. My throat hurts.